Welcome back. I hope you got some good treats and your tummies are full. You stretched your legs, did some of these. Get the blood flowing, right? Ready? Don't laugh. All right, so some of you may know our next speaker, David Weaver. He has been with Maricopa Community Colleges for 37 years. You also might remember one of his previous Tech Talks I hear was pretty steamy. But David is a faculty emeritus in physics at Chandler Gilbert Community College, and he is the creator of a makerspace called the Steam Engine at Estrella Mountain Community College. David's passion for his work is very clear, and you're about to see how he makes a difference in so many people's lives by providing an opportunity for his students to make their projects come to life. I dare you not to be inspired just a little bit by what you're about to see. So please put your hands together for David Weaver. Woo!
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be back here at SCC. As some of you know, that it was actually the spring of 1981 that I started teaching full-time here at SCC. And this is also where I met my bride now of 34 years, Kim Williamson, which if you're from around here, you know she has a lot to do with this space, right? That she and Pam Fields put shows on this stage for more than 30 years. This was the last time that I was here. And sorry, I don't have a guitar this time. No AC/DC. But last time, it was called A Steamy Story, because I really wanted to emphasize two major things in that presentation, which is the importance of project-based learning and how much students can learn by doing projects, but also the importance of the A in STEAM, because we hear STEM, 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 but arts really, really help. Now, when I was here last time, I had just retired and I was just granted Emeritus status, and most people don't know what Emeritus means, so I figured I'd help you out there. And I was just going to teach a little bit online, and that was going to be good. And then a friend out of Australia was going on sabbatical, so he asked, did I want to actually be a sabbatical replacement? So back in the fall of 2015, I went out and started doing that. But that whole time, even before I retired, there was a group of folks that just informally got together from around the district to talk about innovative kinds of things. And we talked about gamifying learning. We talked about doing project-based learning and makerspaces. And so at that point in time, there was talk about getting a makerspace in the district associated with Gateway Community College, but nothing had really happened. Now, I do want to speak just for a moment about the title. We've got a couple of centuries worth of teacher experience in this auditorium, and we know that you really can't make anybody learn, that we use teaching and teacher as shorthand, but what we really are educators. What we need to do is help the students pull from within themselves what they need to learn. And so it's something that we are trying to do this in all that we do, and I find that doing making stuff is a way to get that done. That in the spring of 16, I was finishing up the sabbatical replacement. I went to the president and said, do you have anything else that you need to have happen here? And it turns out they needed somebody to put together a makerspace. And so over the course of that summer of 16 and then into the fall of 16, we got stuff ordered. Then in the spring of 17, we opened up, it's kind of a soft opening, but we had MCTV come out and do a piece about the opening, and that I decided to show it because it'll give you a glimpse of what we do.
Believes will happen with its new STEAM Engine Lab. STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics. The lab houses high-tech manufacturing equipment.
I like to think of this as being a high-tech field of dreams. So we've built it, now we need to see who's going to come.
The goal is to get students, instructors, and others to use it to build products and gain advanced manufacturing skills. A federal grant funded the lab. Requests for products are already coming in. Organizers are counting on the high-tech tools found in the lab to bring out the creative and innovative potential of students.
It allows us to do things that get the students actually building things, actually doing things, whether it's a physics class, an engineering class, or just in general for their own interests.
The lab houses some impressive equipment, including a large 3D printer, a digital laser cutter and etcher, and digitally programmed routers that can cut metal, wood, and even glass. Users will learn mastering the equipment will take time.
Lots of times when you do work like this, you don't get it right the first time. And so it's important that students and faculty learn that learning is about iteration.
Students are already using the equipment in creative and artistic ways. That's why it's called the STEAM Engine Lab, not just STEM. The A stands for arts.
The sewing is a soft goods kind of way of introducing art and creativity into this area that can also be extremely functional.
Brightwell's part-time job as a seamstress led her to helping other students with sewing projects. They used the lab's digitally programmed sewing machine to come up with complex designs. But she plans to learn how to use all the machines found in the lab.
I'm trying to go into the medical field, and the 3D printing that they're doing right now in the biomedical field is really, really impressive.
Weaver says trophies, plaques, and other types of cards could be the first to generate revenue through outside sales. He hopes the school's entrepreneurship club will take on the project to turn products into sales.
What I'd like them to do is use this as a revenue source for them and for us.
In previous semesters, Dabian's physics students used an older model 3D printer to make components for a wind turbine project. Now the newer, larger 3D printer will give students a chance to build larger components for such projects.
The scope of my projects is going to increase dramatically in what they can do, what tools they have available to them.
Weaver says the students that use the lab frequently should gain the skills needed to make them more attractive to employers. Reporting for Maricopa Now, I'm Jonathan Higuera.
And so I was not able to get the Entrepreneur Club to really buy into making and selling, but then students got together and created the STEAM team, which is a STEAM student club, and now they're the ones out there making money. And when I said that, we're going to build it to see who comes, they're starting to come in droves. This last semester that we had probably 24 honors students do projects in there. We're doing all kinds of things for marketing.
So I teach CAS 105 class, which is a survey class about technology. And in all my classes, I teach my students the importance of 3D printing and how they can apply it to their daily lives. And so by giving them access to Tinkercad, my students are able to design something, any little item of their choosing, and then we use the STEAM engine, our makerspace here at Estrella, to actually 3D print these objects. So my students conceptualize, design, and print the items. Students are able to go through their design phase process of something in 3D dimension, right? So students are able to work in a 3D environment, and many students, this is very new for them as they work in the XYZ coordinates. So a few of them in the very beginning have some difficulties with this, but as they go through the process, they're able to work in the environment and create something really unique that then later they print in the STEAM engine and then they take home. So in a traditional classroom, there's a lot of theory and you just, read your book, but when you bring the resources from the STEAM engine, students are able to actually do hands-on projects. Many students actually learn easier when they have something physical in their hands that they can pull apart or put together that helps them with their learning experience and actually learn the content, the material. My students have given me really positive feedback with using the STEAM engine resources. They are very excited to learn a concept such as 3D printing because they see how it is relevant to their lives after I've given them the lesson about how it works, what we're gonna do. And so I actually see the excitement when they're getting their physical object, something that they've seen on the computer and now it's in their hands and they can actually take home. Any professor that is interested in using the STEAM engine, just rethink some of your lessons and see how you can incorporate some of these awesome resources we have at the STEAM engine. I know that your students will benefit greatly from it, and it will add to their learning experience and also to your teaching experience as you see the enjoyment that you have in teaching them about these concepts and resources, but also them using them in their learning process.
So Leslie teaches CIS 105, and it really helps to bring to life what she does in that class. You saw Dwayne Davian before talking about doing more advanced projects. And so last semester, towards the end of the semester, he ended up discovering a project that he wanted his students to do, and it's a massively impressive project.
The first goal was to actually give the students some hands-on practical skills of building something that they would not have the ability to otherwise build for this class. November 2nd rolled around and I got my issue as a physics teacher, and in it was the Hunt for Red October 2. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've seen in years. I hadn't even finished the first page and I'm like, my students are gonna have to do this for their class project. Because in my university physics classes, there is always a class project. So this time I decided to make my students replicate what was done in this journal article. We were building magnetohydrodynamic drive boats, which meant we had to use the tools in the steam engine to be able to make this project. We were using the drill press to drill the holes in the PVC pipe. We were using the chop saw so that they could get their PVC to the right length. We're also using a handheld Dremel so they could cut slots for their devices. From a traditional setting, one of the biggest differences is they're actually getting to do hands-on. Students don't normally get to build anything that is driven by a magnetic force, by the Lorentz force. They're not given anything that actually uses an electric and magnetic field to do anything, much less be able to make a boat that moves across a fish tank. They're actually taking something that was just published in a journal and being able to replicate it and do it themselves. They're able to look at electric interactions, able to look at magnetic interactions, and how those affect, in this case, a boat. The students really enjoyed their time over there. In fact, most of them said, how do I get more involved? How do I get to use the other devices that they saw in there but didn't get to use as part of this project? So of course I encourage them to sign up for the Physics 298 class, which allows them to learn and do more of the tools over there. The feedback has been, we love it, we want more. If you dream it, you can do it. Don't be afraid to try. The worst you can do is fail. Okay? The reality is they have the ability to do so many things over there that I don't care whether you're teaching a psychology class, a physics class, a sociology class, or an English class. There's something in there that allow you to enhance your course and allow your students to have a hands-on experience that they in no other way would be able to have.
That's a cool project. And so it is, then there's credits for it, that's something that doing real projects like that really enhances student learning in a way that just reading that journal article wouldn't do. Now today, February 2nd, is the deadline for Innovation of the Year, and so we've put the STEAM engine in, and this is the team. Even though there are 2 full-time employees there, all of those people, all of us, are taking classes. Most of them are pursuing degrees, so they're all students. And then here in a moment, you're going to hear about one of the projects that they've done, which is part of our engineering projects and community service, which is a part of
Engineering students at Estrella Mountain Community College are using the latest technology to create a set of prosthetic hands for 9-year-old Noah Munns. Noah's mom says how positive the experience has been.
It's pretty exciting, though. We're really thrilled to see such a meaningful project, and then something that EMCC students can do that isn't like just, oh, make this project. This is truly impactful, has a huge impact on a kid's life.
She explains how the prosthetics will help him.
This is really cool to see him have a right hand that he can use, because there are things that, he has trouble doing. So I'm really excited that he might be able to explore those new avenues.
Slide right in.
The wait is over as the first fitting begins.
Yeah.
Noah is ecstatic as he picks something up with his newly fitted hand.
That's amazing, buddy. That's cool.
The school recently received a 3D printer, allowing students to take on more challenging projects like these.
Do this and see how excited he is. Definitely changes him. It's going to give him more things that he can do now.
After some slight adjustments, student Anthony Holman gets Noah fitted with a second prosthetic. Students say a project like this helps them grow in more ways than one.
This is the first project that I've really worked on that I've been able to, kind of as an engineering student, have kind of a hand in and putting my skills to use. And so not only do I get to do that, but I get to help someone else, and it feels pretty great.
Instructors say projects like these can change lives, both the student engineers and prosthetic recipients.
I think it has made an impact on Noah, and the fact that he was able to, within a minute or so, be able to actually pick something up in a hand that he has not been able to do that with was very, very gratifying.
Noah expresses his gratitude to everyone who made this project possible.
I say thank you very much, and it was thoughtful of you to make these hands for me. Thank you very much.
For Maricopa Now, I'm Tiffany Tran reporting.
So Zariah in there she's kind of mastered the 3D scanning, so we are working on a leg, which you see is that purple one, and a prosthetic finger. And then Tony, who is in there in that last bit, is working on another project that's kind of steamy, and he hopes to have this built by the end of next week so we can take it out on the road and be able to have it in our just outside of our space, and it's called a laser harp. Retha, the last speaker, talked about augmented reality, and also ideally by next week, we will have students finish building an augmented reality sandbox that, again, we can take out when we visit schools.
Augmented Reality Sandbox.
And so this is
was
what
developed
building.
originally by researchers at UC Davis. We're going to be using it here at UCLA to help students learn about topography. So they can take a topographic map in the classroom, try to recreate the features by manipulating the sand. I can, take one mound, make it into two mounds. I can make it rain over the top of this, and I can see how the water flows down the sides of the hills. Push that material up in here. That water wants to go somewhere else. Now it's going to flow through this channel into our reservoir below. So when the students are on the field.
So I hope over the course of the last 17 minutes and 10 seconds, I've convinced you that by making things, by doing project-based learning, students do actually learn. So thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So when I watched his presentation in rehearsal, I was like, can I have that, please? I want to make music while dancing. That harp. All right, so maybe not like that, but you know what I mean.